Greetings, folks. How are yous again? Crusty Canuck here, just coming back with the episode 1.5. Considering my first episode wasn't the best quality, but I'm going to try this again to make sure you folks get all the information, you're entertained, you laugh, and criticize along with me on this quest. Anyhow, today's topic will basically be the same as the last topic, the whole NATO issue. Oh, 1 second. Hello? Are you sure that's what the people really want? Honestly, come on, you know better than that. I know, parity, gender equality, all that good stuff, I know. But you gotta realize, you gotta have qualified people for the qualified job. Makes sense. I'm not gonna hire 10 truck drivers who've only got 10 hours of training, right? I want to hire truck drivers that have all the training. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what color they are, what gender they are, how big or small. Are they qualified to do the work? Yes, JT, I understand. I know you try. You try so hard, and yet you just don't think the big picture. Okay? Excuse me? Well, that was an interesting conversation, to say the least. Anyhow, let's carry on with the rant, shall we? Okay, so Justin and his cronies were in Belgium recently with the whole NATO summit, trying to sort things out. And our neighbors to the south, their fearless leader, Mr. Trump, more or less telling Europe and the rest of the NATO allies to step up to the plate and get the effing job done. More or less, spend money on procuring your own military know-how, hardware, training, etc., and stop making America lift the weight. Now, my personal experience from serving overseas with Americans and Brits and Australians and Germans, there's a consensus there when it comes to smaller countries in NATO, who do make a lot of money, by the way, fail to upgrade and update things. Canada is no exception. Now, I'm not trying to disenfranchise my leadership, nor am I trying to disenfranchise my fellow comrades, brothers and sisters that I serve with, and some that are still serving today. I will disenfranchise, however, the lackluster leadership that is being presented to the Canadian military today. Okay? You as civilians, and myself as a civilian now, we have to take a grip. Honestly. We have to really stand up and say, look, enough is enough. If you want our military to work efficiently, I can't speak English today, efficiently, then you got to look after it. Okay? Let's get rid of these procurement boards that sit around all day, scratch their butts, earning $60,000 or more a year, to sit around a table to decide whether something is Canadian enough or not. How about something that works? According to statistics right now, and some of the information that I have gathered, there's about 1.3% of our GDP being spent on military today. I beg to differ. Okay? If you only spend 1.3%, why the hell are we buying old aircraft from Australia? We're getting rid of our 30-year-old jets to replace them with an additional 30-year-old jets. Interesting. Anyhow, make a long story short, we have all these people in Ottawa that decide the fate of our military, and yet they don't want to look after it. Why? Are they afraid to stand up? Are they afraid to say, hey, this is Canada, we can look after our own? But then again, history has proven otherwise. I remember the look in the faces of some of those mothers and fathers when their sons came home. And I remember the look on the faces of some of my family members when I came home after my last tour. So that's something worth fighting for, I believe. This democracy is worth fighting for, regardless of any capacity. It doesn't matter who's in charge, whether it be liberals, conservatives, NDP, hell, even libertarians. We got to look after the Canadian people, folks. No more of this lollygagging, dog fucking. Let's get on with it. Considering how many tax dollars that the average Canadian pays, you're looking at 42% of the average Canadian paying taxes. And where do they go to? Oh, sure, schools and roads, of course. But what else do they go to? They go to a bunch of people in Ottawa who want to give money away, help this sect of people, help that sect of people, and not help the Canadian people. Okay? The people that work every day. How would you feel as a private citizen? Let's say, for example, something bad happens to Canada. Say if Canada had its own version of 9/11. Say if somebody was smart enough to procure all these explosives and drive them into the Sky Dome, or the Rogers Centre, or Air Canada Centre, or in Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, right? Or in BC. Anywhere there's a mass of people conglomerating, enjoying themselves, having a good time. Let's say some sicko decided to blow that up, right? Do we have the intelligence capacity to countermand that? I'm sure we do. Government knows a lot of things, especially big government knows a lot of things. But how come this big government can't get off its ass and procure things properly, right? I like to challenge some of these defense speakers who agree with liberal policy. I like to have a debate with some of them when it comes to procuring things for this country and getting things done. You want to increase the recruiting drive? Okay, advertise it. Harper government did it. What was wrong with that? Of course, the opposition at that time, oh, you're teaching Canadians how to be warriors. Oh my God, you're encouraging warfare. No, they're encouraging recruitment. So therefore, you don't have to see fucking warfare. That's what it comes down to, right? If all you guys actually sat and thought and come up with a plan, oh, here's a solution. How about instead of asking all these great experts when it comes to procurement, how about you ask some senior sergeants, some senior warrant officers, and some sergeant majors from all three branches, and then inquire with some captains and some majors from all three services. And then have some professional thinkers, some real people that come from real think tanks on how to figure this problem out. There's a solution to that problem. Vote these cronies out and start a procurement board that wants to look after the interests of Canada and not just a handful of politicians or a handful of businesses or a handful of special interest groups. Right? We've got 35 million people here to defend. Okay? We don't need a big U.S. Army to defend it for us. They're a great ally, yes. History's proven that. We've been an ally to them, they've been an ally to us. What's the problem? We don't have to have a giant Navy and a giant Air Force, but we should have an Air Force that can go when they have to, a Navy that's ready to pick up and go and fight when they have to, and an Army that's ready to pick up and go and fight and defend when it has to. We can still do peace support operations and things to the United Nations, even though sometimes I disagree with the United Nations, because I just think they're money-grubbing suck pods, but that's just me. Anyhow, so that's my spiel about NATO. Let's get rid of these cronies. Let's start thinking as a people what is good for Canada. Okay? This flag behind me here, okay, that's Canadian heritage. Some of you viewers out there might think, oh, that's historical. It is historical. It's part of our history, right? You look at the shield. You got the three lions representing the English. You got the Scottish line representing Scotland. You got the harp representing the Irish. And the fleur-de-lis represent les Québécois, the Français. A valid part of our country. And the three maple leafs representing the First Nations. That was history. Okay? Having a flag, or having possession of this flag, doesn't make you a white nationalist. Doesn't make you racist. It makes you proud of your history. I would gladly serve under that flag as much as I served under the maple leaf. That's just who I am. I'm a Canadian, and I'm speaking out against some of the status quo mundane BS that we're experiencing today. Oh, phone's vibrating again. 1 second. Hello? Well, what an interesting conversation that was, boys and girls. Anyhow, as I carry on. Should or get off the pause, basically what I'm saying. okay, from being a member of the military who has been told by some senior officials that, let's see, make the best of what we got. So we always got to work harder with less. That doesn't seem logical to me. So, what do you think? Please send your comments below and we'll debate. Okay, in the meantime, now we've got another topic to go over. The environment, carbon tax. You know how that is. You know, carbon tax for breathing. Basically what it is. I think it's a real con. Don't you? Another, what, 4 to 6 cents on the dollar spent to fight carbon? When Canada's, what, 1.6 carbon emissions on the world scale? Interesting. But let's forget about China and India, and of course our neighbors to the south when it comes to pollution and carbon in this hemisphere. Anyhow, make a long story short, it's a con. Okay? To me, it's just another liberal excuse to spend more money that they don't have, and money we gotta give over, so they can look prosperous and virtue and go, oh my God, look at us, we're progressive. Hardly. Honestly. They're asking more Canadians to always give more and give more and give more, and then what's left? Nothing. Except a bad taste in your mouth and a hate for the Liberal Party. You know what I'm saying? Oh, vibrating again. 1 second. Hello? Oh, hello, Climate Barbie. What do you want? Oh, yes, yes, I know. Yes, you're a lawyer, and you have a degree, and blah, 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 blah. All I hear is blah, blah, blah from you. Again. Don't you think people have had enough? Honestly. Well, enough of that. I'm sorry, folks, bit of a blackout there. I had trouble deciphering her, how do you say, teeter-totter talk. You know, like every liberal was doing. Up and down with all this BS. So I had to black out some of the conversation because I just couldn't take it seriously. And I hope to God you guys don't do it either. Anyhow, that's my spiel on the environment. The way I look after, or correction, the way I look at it is that it's a con. Really. What's a carbon tax really going to do for us Canadians? What's it going to do for the average working Canadian who's working 40 plus hours a week? Right? He or she has to come home, put food on their table, pay their rent, or pay their mortgage, and then what? Shell another $3,000 or $4,000 for this great carbon tax? And where's that money going to go? Is it going to be invested into some green energy? Perhaps different ways to refine our fuel? Oh yeah, that's right. We can't process Canadian fuel anymore because it's bad. Yet we can bring in fuel from other countries that treat their own citizens like garbage. Why don't we treat our citizens like garbage too? Hey? That's always good. I don't know. 2019 can't come soon enough. Anyhow. I don't know what to say. I hope to God 2019 proves to be a good freaking year for a lot of us. For all Canadians. All people, all shapes and sizes. Especially for our veterans. Right? My brothers and sisters that served and fought with dignity in Afghanistan. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Canadians did see combat. A lot of us did. Some of us are proud of it, some of us aren't. Some of us saw things we'd like to forget. Needless to say, we did it. We volunteered, did our jobs, to the best of our ability. And I hate to say it, but the last government was looking after us actually started procuring things that made sense. Right? However, this government doesn't want to do it. Why? I don't know. We could sit around and scratch our heads all the time and worry about, you know, who said what and who did what. Needless to say, we've got a government that doesn't care. They want to look good, but they don't want to be good. Anyhow, that's my spiel for today. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Next week, I'll find some other topics to rant and bitch about. But needless to say, it'll be Canadian-based, and it's for the Canadian people. So, take care. Love each other. Look after your loved ones. And don't tread on anyone. Bye for now.